But anyways, Erin got us going on the first trip there. And then in 2014, which is probably the darkest day of our movement here, because the Supreme Court in 2014 shut the door on us and said, basically denied our rights. Erin was with us at the Supreme Court trying to fight that too. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Erin here and let her talk about Camp Lejeune and what she's done. Everyone, she needs no introduction. Everyone's seen, by the way, who's seen the movie Erin Brockovich? Okay. So without further ado, here's Erin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I don't do this too often, but I'm very teary-eyed for a lot of reasons. One, I'm very frustrated, and I'm very glad to see you all here tonight. I'm really upset. This should never have happened. To Mike, to Jerry, to their families, to any of you in this room. And I am beyond words and confusion and frustration that the cause of this is who so many of us feel and believe is our protector and our parent and our overseer. And that is the United States government. And the audacity that you would hide and conceal, that you knowingly have poisoned an entire Marine base and their dependents sometimes is more than I can bear. And I'm not going to be ashamed or embarrassed to stand up here and share with you my vulnerability, my sorrow, and my frustration. To Jerry, to Mike, to everyone at Camp Lejeune, and to all of your families. I'm a military mom. I could not be more proud of our military, and I want you to hear me loud and clear. This is not your fault. This information was concealed from you, and I want you to be proud of who you are, and proud of your service, and proud of Camp Lejeune, and proud of being a Marine, and to all military for protecting and defending and giving and willing to give your life for us. And the idea that you come home safe from a war and you are poisoned on your own soil sometimes is something emotionally that I can't always buck up and be strong and be stoic, but rather share my emotions with you and my support for you, and that we are here for you. Most people know me for groundwater pollution and a water fighter, and I am that fighter. I checked today the earliest record I have, and Jerry, Mike, and I actually have a date in common. We just didn't know it, and that is 2007. And my earliest email that I got from Camp Lejeune about this issue was, in fact, in 2007. It has been an extremely long fight for everyone involved, going all the way to the Supreme Court, and it literally took an act of Congress. 25, 30 decades into the future, before the truth was told. I work with a lot of communities, every one of them. They can handle, and they do handle the truth. What they don't handle is the lie. What they don't handle is the cover-up. But here we are. And thanks to Jerry and his tireless work in creating the Janie Ensminger Act, creating the Camp Lejeune Justice Act, in a partnership with Mike, and I was honored to be a part of it. We all got together in 2010 when we did a special with Cynthia McFadden on the ABC News. I have thought of us as the Three Musketeers and the Three Amigos ever since. This is my family too. And to see the PAC Act happen and the Camp Lejeune Justice Act be combined to create this moment for all of you, this acknowledgement, you were deceived. And you have an opportunity before you to find some sense of justice. I believe justice has begun already because you now know the truth. It's a hard truth to process, but you now know the truth. And we are all here tonight for you to have an open, honest, transparent, informative meeting. And that is what's so important to me. Boots on the ground, if you will. And that will be us with all of you. And one of the greatest things for me to see is that you show up. It's the information, it's the knowledge that can help you now make the best choice and the best decision you need for you and your family. And that's what this team is here for tonight. I do work on the law side of it. My main work is my advocacy. But this is a situation where the law should have been involved and wasn't always involved because so much information was concealed. So the firms that you see here tonight, I have worked with for years. I started working with them 5-6 years ago on my nemesis PG&E and the deadly fires in California. I had never worked with a team that I respected so much who was boots on the ground. We like to be with you. We want to see you. We want to touch you. We want to hug you. We want to see you eye to eye. I get frustrated of late with all the television commercials going on out there. Somebody made a comment on my Facebook that the advertisements have gotten worse than My Pillow guy. You know him? So I'm like, yeah. And it's okay to do advertising, but I don't want you misled in any way, shape, or form. This isn't an overnight process. The process has begun. The truth has been told. But the reality is, and the facts are, nobody's going to get a bag of cash tomorrow. We're going to have to go through paperwork. We're going to have to go through interviews. You're going to have to go through a process. And you won't necessarily see the justice that we all want in these settlements tomorrow. But we are well on our way. And it is this team that I learned with, boots on the ground. We will be here from now until the end. And it's very important that you have access to us. We're going to tell you things you may not want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. We're not afraid to tell you we may not know a specific answer about something that may be going on with the VA and the association with this. But we will find that out. We won't, and we have no intention of misleading you in any way, shape, or form. And that's why I'm with this team. I've seen them do it over and over again. They're organized. They're prepared. They know it's a process. They will have your back, and we will keep coming back. And I can assure you, these faces you see here tonight, and Mr. Attorney over here, Michael Watts, who I'm getting ready to introduce, this will not be the first time or the last time that you see any of us. If we need to come back over and over and over again, we will. That is our commitment to you. So with that, and Jerry, I saw you stand up.
Yeah.
Here he comes. I'm just letting you know.
Just stay here.
All right, I'll stay here. I'll get in trouble if I move.
Mike and I, like I said, I've been in this for 25 years. Mike's been in it for the last 15. We've dealt with a lot of attorneys over the years. As a matter of fact, we got rid of our last attorney. And while we were doing our search for a new representation, we came across Mr. Watts, Michael Watts. You know what impressed me about this man? When we contacted them, they flew here to meet with us, all the way from Texas. And while we were having that meeting at the Bladen County Airport, outside Elizabethtown. Michael Watts asked me, Jerry, could you give me a tour of the base? He said, if I'm going to handle a case, I want to walk the ground. I want to see what I'm fighting. And I told him, I said, yeah, sure. I can take you on the base. He goes, really? I said, yeah, I'm a retired Marine. I said, I got an ID card. I can take anybody on the base that wants to go on. So he looked at his chief of staff, who's Alicia, sitting down there at that table at the end, and he said, clear my calendar for this date, and this date, 3 days. He said, I'm flying to Jacksonville, and I'm going on the base with Jerry. You know, no other attorney that Mike and I dealt with all these years ever even thought of asking me to take them on the base. Now, how many attorneys you know of that are fighting an issue that don't want to go to the scene of the crime? Because none of the other ones did. None of them asked that. So, this guy's special in my eyes. And he's not going to give you any BS either. We're going to look you in the eye. And if you notice, we don't have any of those ads on television with old ladies with wheelbarrows full of money and, guys dressed up in army fatigues. I mean, they're terrible. But